Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on your way in. Pull up to his funeral in a late in a Z late. Oh man, what's going on, D Scott? I'm here. I'm here. I'm here, man. So I didn't even start yet, and D Scott flaming me. Well, I guess I'm deserving of it. I am late. Um, so y'all go ahead and let Obsidian know. Miss Foster apparently heard his stream, and she posted a picture of her and Dude. Okay, so y'all, her and Dude are in her community chat right now on her For Harriet site. So on her For Harriet page, better yet. So yeah, I guess that's her and Dude in the For Harriet picture. So shout out to that brother. May the odds forever be in your favor, player, because nigga, that's your girlfriend. Woo! Woo! Nigga, that's your all right. Kim Foster is your girlfriend. Good luck. Oh wow. Yeah. You are a stronger man than I am. Or that I probably will ever be. Okay. Woo! So for those of you that caught Mr. Z was on Obsidian's show today. Yes, I was on Roger's show for a little bit, and then and hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm gonna be moving around a little bit, so my background I might be going in and out. Y'all just let me know when I am borging, so I can know to repeat what I just said. Okay, okay. But yeah, so I was on Obsidian stream. Thank you for having me on, brother Obsidian. Um, and we spoke about Miss Kim Foster. I made sure to explain why I think she is so dangerous, what makes her dangerous. I think I'm in good company with explaining that Kim Foster is just Oprah 2.0, minus the money, and the notoriety. Yeah, that part too. So I wanted to address a few things. One comment in Obsidian's comment section, that was like, when I said I have her video downloaded, where she pretty much says, we need to bring back "We Don't Need These Negroes" feminism, and one of the brothers was like, "You have it downloaded," or he said it like kind of in a cringy way, and I'm like, I didn't read it until after the stream, but yeah. So let me respond to that by saying yes. Whether that was a brother or a sister, yeah, I have it downloaded. And I screenshot and download a lot of these people's stuff because they delete them. They either delete them or they put them on Patreon or you know yeah, so it is important to capture these things because these people are going to be around for a few decades, and we want for everyone to know that this is how these people were speaking, this is what these people thought, this is how these people felt, this is how these people still feel, right? So it's important that we keep track of what these people are saying so that when they start trying to cop please in 20, 30 years, when their worldview flies in the face of what people are living, or they have to backtrack, not because they actually change their mind, or their convictions aren't the same, but because the rest of the world shamed them, we can have that information. So of course I am downloading these people's information. I am screenshotting certain things like I encourage you guys to do, especially if you think what they're saying is particularly egregious, because it's important, right? Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. And yeah, these people are like the worst. Right? So let's make sure we get through that. Another comment was a sister in the comments that said, I would love to know why, this intelligent brother or smart brother, I can't remember which word she used, is on the political left. Well, I'm on the political left because I actually believe that government can play a role in helping you throughout life, or at least getting out of your way, or at least moving the corporations out the way, or and that's why I'm on the political left. I do believe in a social safety net. I don't think we're just here to pay taxes and have the government just look out for wealthy people and that's it, right? Give tax cuts to wealthy people and that's it. Bail out the big banks and that's it, right? Why are you paying taxes and then demanding nothing of government, right? That's why I'm on the political left. If I'm paying taxes, I'm demanding stuff. I'm asking for stuff, right? I'm challenging and pushing, right? Like, there's no point in paying taxes and then have the government tell you, yeah, you get it out the mud, but we got to look out for these banks, though, right? You get it out the mud, but when the automatic auto manufacturers needed help, we'll help them out, right? We'll help them restructure. We'll tell them, hey, you have to hit certain emissions tests, right? But yeah, you on the other hand, you get it out the mud, right? We'll turn a blind eye to sketchy, almost breaking the law, sometimes breaking the law, labor rights violations. But if you spit gum on the wrong way in front of the wrong cop, that's your ass, right? That's why I'm politically left. You know, not to mention I actually don't care about these people and their sexual orientation. Um, as long as they're not trying to push that on me and my kids, and so that's my hard stop. That's my hard stop, right? Like, oh, skirt. Wait a minute, no, right? Or if they're men masquerading as women and trying to compete against my daughter or other girls and women in sports. Yeah, we can't have that either. So that's my hard stop. That's when you could say like Mr. Z is whatever, right? But I also don't believe in the no true Scotsman, right? Where it's like if you're left, you got to believe in all the left tenets all the way across the board. And on that note, and here's Mr. Z being a whole hypocrite. Um, like I told a brother Obsidian, Kim Foster, yeah, she has some pretty conservative elitist views, and the brother conceded because he too saw the conversation she had with the brother about the Black Manosphere and why he listens in and whatnot, and how she was trying to pull respectability politics, and she was, you know, and this is a very class conscious woman, right? Very class conscious. Miss Kim Foster is, right? And on the left we are, but huh, I think a person that has the skill could definitely back her into a wall, and you'll see the little white racists start coming out of her, right? The little conservative white racists start coming out of her. Not saying there's not racists on the left. Whenever I say that, I got to make sure to mitigate and say, not saying there's not racists on the left, because people think that that's, left black lefties think that we don't have our own issues over here and who we're under the umbrella or the tent with. And yeah, Mr. Z's not that person. Right. So yeah, so it was a great stream with Obsidian, breaking down her video. Um and yeah, Kim Foster is she's stereotypical elitist a-hole, right? Educated, um moderate to large vocabulary, maybe closer to moderate, but okay, cool. Um knows certain quotes, maybe read a couple of books, um, knows the names of certain first and second wave feminists, and then she's just gonna hammer you up the head with that over and over and over again, right? Thank you, BGS. Racism is just different in the left. Exactly. That's all. That's all. Exactly. Right. And so yeah, so Miss Kim Foster, I mean, yeah, she was doing a stream at the same time as Obsidian, so I it looks like it might be blocked. Maybe I didn't check well enough. Um, or she put it on Patreon. I think that it might be on Patreon, but and it said is education white, or I think is college education white. I think that was the name of the video or the title or something like that. And I took a look at the title while I was on Obsidian channel, and I spoke to him about it. And I said, no, the bigger question right now is education male? Is college education male? Like, you're still fighting the last war. What they say, the general is always fighting the last war. You're still fighting the last war, Miss Foster. If you see that college enrollment is 60-40 split, by the time we get to graduation, it's 65-35 split. But yet you're still speaking about, is college education white? No, is college education male? That includes the white guys and the Latinos and even the Asians, right? Which also speaks to black women trying to be like white women. Yikes, particularly black women like you, right? So no, no, college education isn't white. Being educated isn't white, right? And that's one thing. Secondly, why would I want to be why would I want to be in any space near women that think and feel like you about black men? We're not doing a good job talking about the fact that these institutions of higher learning have women like this running around. Kim Foster is your professor in the humanities, right? In the soft sciences. Their soft science professors, white, black, Latina, Asian, or otherwise, the women think like Miss Kim Foster. Why would I be in an institution where I have to apologize for my heterosexual masculinity? That among other things is a reason why many men aren't attending these colleges and universities. Why? Right? The students think like Kim, the professors think like Kim, right? Why would I be in that space? Not to mention, you know, a little clip I guess from her that she posted recently, um speaking about colorism and how black men hyper focus or focus on the intimate partner aspect of colorism or being levied against them, but not about the institutions. Excuse me, wait a minute. See, that lets you know that you're not really listening to the black manosphere, which is okay, but you're going after like what you think or feel we're saying or not saying, but not what we're actually saying, because black men over here actually do speak about colorism and how it affects them and how it affects black men in general, and not just the part about our intimate romantic partnerships. But once again, when you go after, whatever caricature of what you think we are or aren't, then you don't know. And you would think a person that attended Harvard would do a better job at researching this supposed enemy. And let me actually address that too. Miss Kim says something along the lines of like, much of the, I'm paraphrasing, but like we're ignoring it because of our perceived enemy as being black women and like them making a gripe about it. She implies that, no, Miss Foster, women like you are like, y'all are the enemy though. It's not perceived. You are, right? She does the whole little sassy thing, the little snarky BGS. If you think you can't deal with these other content creators snark, you would BGS. You would jump face down off of a bridge if you got to deal with Kim Snark. That sad. Like, it's not sass because it's not. It no, it is sass. It's like a upper class or aspiring upper class snark and sass. And it's like the most annoying thing ever because the person actually thinks what they're saying and how they are saying it warrants that snarkiness. It's like it's unwarranted snark, right? And it's like, but what? And it's just annoying. Yeah, like, but I don't even want to give it to her. And Detro says um um snootiness, and it's like, but there's certain people that get off on being snooty because when you address them and like, yeah, you're being snooty, they speak about it like like it's a positive. Like, no, I don't think I'm better than you. You think I'm better than you, right? You have to check your insecurities. It's like, no, you are speaking like you think I think you're better than me. I don't. You're doing too much. You're being extra, right? And it's like, yeah, it's just it's yeah. A- and it reminds me so much of like your best rendition of the upper middle class black woman trying to be the upper middle class white woman, right? Yeah, exactly. You see me, D Scott, the eternal humble brag. Oh, the humble brag. Now Kim got a PhD in that. The humble brag. Oh, she got a PhD in that, right? The snootiness, the snark, and I'm like, shout out to the brother that she's in a relationship with. Man, Jesus Christ. It's a no. I. Oh my God. I don't. I think it's a sign of maturity and strength to admit that you're not strong enough or you don't have the tools to be around certain people or to be around certain people for prolonged periods of time, or like you don't have the tools to deal with a certain type of personality for too long. And like Mr. Z is admitting like that, nah, right? Because it's not about the know-it-all, or it's not about the education. It's not even about the class or perceived class. It is an air of superiority, and it's it's actually condescending, right? It's purposely insulting and condescending, right? Because I've seen her not only do this when speaking to black men, but we've also seen Miss Foster do this when she was speaking about black women in luxury, right? That black women in luxury, and when she was responding to the women that were pushing back on her, that second video she did on that, you can see that also, right? And it's just it's supremely annoying and off-putting, and I think that's okay. Her audience isn't necessarily straight black men. That's cool. Her audience is black women and maybe white women, and that's cool. But that can get taxing, right? And I guess that's why she wants to stay within class when it comes to her romantic relationships, because I guess those brothers on that level and that kind of grew up that way, maybe they know how to deal with that. um Maybe they have the tools to kind of deal with that type of snark and black female snootiness, whether warranted or not. And Mr. Z just doesn't, right? I see it as a performance that actually doesn't need, you don't need it. It's unwarranted, right? And where I'm from, that that you might elicit a violent response even from a woman, right? So especially for the people that speak as if they're above it, but they're not. Like they take shots and then they speak like they're above this kind of low retrograde way of speaking, way of comporting yourself, way of thinking and feeling, but in actuality they're not. And you only have to push them but so far and you'll see that they're not, right? And now Miss Foster is on a campaign of like pretty much speaking about black men and the Black Manosphere in particular, like we do have the right stats maybe, but we don't know how to read them, right? So that now we're in the era of you Negroes are so dumb that you're taking these statistics and then you're misinterpreting them, right? Misusing them, you know. So once again, we're in the era of you niggas is just dumb. And she actually calls us useless, by the way. On the same little clip, it's about a minute and 20, 30 seconds long. She actually calls black men useless, or at least the Black Manosphere useless. I know Kim Foster ain't calling nobody useless, bro. I know you ain't calling nobody useless. You? What do you think you're doing that's new and unique, or different, or pushing the envelope, or challenging the system? Okay, let me get this right. Another black educated woman who fashions herself as an elite or aspiring elite that's lightweight regurgitating white racist talking points about black men and using her college education to do so. Huh. Another Ivy League attending black woman who speaks about black men not being there, black men not showing up, black men's lack of emotional intelligence, black men not valuing formal education. What's different between you and like all the other black feminists over the past, I don't know, 6, 7 decades, 5 decades? And you call us useless? What are you doing that's revolutionary? That's different. That's cutting edge. Right? Another black woman that chastised black men for saying, okay, you took another black woman with a degree in the humanities and then takes that degree in the humanities and claims to want to interpret this in a way that's beneficial for black people, but then actually what she does with those degrees is just beat up on black men incessantly. Another black woman that does that. Huh. Once again, Miss Foster, you called us useless. Remember your words. We're the useless ones, and yet you're doing the same thing that your foremothers did that didn't work, and that's much of the reason why so many extra black women are out here struggling and looking sick and lonely. Huh? And these are the people that white lefties want to bring to lecture. And these are the people that black women in the future will be attempting to cite. All right. Huh. Kim Foster. Right. These people. She thinks she's doing something special to the point where she calls us useless because you're useful, Miss Foster. To who? To the black women you're gonna make single forever and miserable? To the black working class men that you think you're better than? To the white racists who just use you, the white racists on the left that just use you to say the type of things about black men that your foremothers said? You're useful to who exactly? And this is what passes for like intelligent critique, analysis, right? She couldn't even get Obsidian life situation correct, right? She's so hard up on getting a win on the Black Manosphere, right? That she couldn't even do her appropriate research, right? And this is a Harvard, well, if Obsidian is right, a Harvard grad. This is a Harvard graduate. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. This person. That's what makes Kim so Kim is super dangerous. Because in 20, 30 years, when all the women that listen to her are not just single, I want to be clear, Miss Foster. If you ever listen to this, which you won't, but if you ever do, what makes you dangerous is not only that you keep women like you single. They're not just single, they're unhappy and miserable. And all you do is give them rhetoric to somewhat kind of sort of deal with it a little bit. But all those antidepressant pills and them crying themselves to sleep at night, you're willing to watch them suffer for your jihad against men. I keep on saying it. So many of you female content creators are willing to watch your subscribers suffer. They're not you. They don't make $300,000 a year. These are 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a year women. And you're willing to watch them suffer and be single and miserable. Once again, just because you're single, you're not miserable. You will tell them, oh yeah, you being single, it's way better than you being with that type of man. Isn't that what you was trying to say to Miss Brown Sugar? Isn't that what you was trying to say? To shame her for being with Obsidian? You will watch these women be miserable and then tell them, well, that's better than you being with those Negroes. And Negroes isn't the word you use. And in 20, 30 years, when many of these women never had children, but they wanted to, when they've never been married, but they wanted to, people like you will pretend like you don't even know what's going on. You don't know why. Had nothing to do with you. You just wanted to see women empowerment. You'll start copping please, right? When Miss Foster, and what the thing with Miss Foster, and I gotta say this, she has an obsession with like a certain brand of forgiveness or grace for black women in particular, right? Like this is a theme on her channel, right? It's like the world wants to be so excruciatingly harsh to excuse me, to women, but to black women in particular, right? Like draconian laws type harsh. And I always say, like, you think they harsh to y'all. You want to try the XY chromosome side of the game? Number one. Number two, what has gone on in your life where you're like obsessed with vindicating black women because you feel like the world is so harsh on them for the smallest mistakes? Right? And like that's like seriously, that's a theme on her channel. The world is so harsh on black women and black girls for the smallest mistakes, for, you know, any type of thing they might have done wrong when they were younger, but yet, you know, they need some grace. And for me, it's, we're not speaking about people that make mistakes, and even certain mistakes you can't come back from. We're speaking about people like you, Miss Foster, where you sit down and you plan out how you're going to screw people, how you're going to speak about people, how you're going to advocate for certain people and not advocate for others. It's not a mistake. You're making a very cold, calculated decision. Now, in the future, when certain things bite you in the rear end, or when you're at a book signing and one of these sisters check the hell out of you, a hard check, right? And it leaves you stuttering for something you said in the past, that's when you want to start copping please and start talking about, oh, I made a mistake. Right? No. There are people that make cold, calculated decisions. And then they realize they miscalculated. It's not a mistake. Even when y'all apologize, you only apologize because others got their foot on your neck. So no, Miss Foster, in the future, you don't get to claim mistake because there are people around you, like Mr. Z, who are telling you, yeah, do you realize what you're saying and what you advocated for? How you're speaking, the energy at which you're speaking, how you talking out of both sides of your mouth. When you say we need to bring back, we don't need these niggas feminism, do you understand how dangerous that is in this environment? Saying that to black women, to the black women your age and younger. So no, you saying that isn't just a mistake that you get to write off in the future. So this whole campaign you're on about the world showing black women some grace because the world is so harsh on them for smallest little infractions, no. Like I said, people make cold calculated decisions. And then when those decisions come and bite them in the rear end, then they call it a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. You don't like the outcome. Not liking the outcome or the outcome not working in your favor isn't the same as making a mistake. When you made a cold, calculated decision and it bites you in the rear end, you don't get to claim mistake afterward. That's like going into a person's home at night thinking you're gonna rob them, and they put two bullets in your ass, and then I made a mistake. No, what? Because you went to the wrong house? No, you decided to drive into that neighborhood. You picked a house. Now it might have been the wrong house. Maybe you should have picked the neighbor house. But you don't get to claim mistake. At most, the mistake was that you picked the wrong house at the wrong time. Right? Miss Foster speaks as if what we're engaging over here is dangerous, as if what she's engaging in isn't dangerous, as if saying we need to bring back, we don't need these niggas feminism isn't dangerous, right? Huh. As in spreading lies about Miss Brown Sugar isn't dangerous. That's not dangerous. As in attempting to forward the whole there's a special place in hell for women that harm other women type of ideology on a woman who's been in a relationship with a man for over a decade when you clearly can't keep one for how long? Like, that's not dangerous. As in continuing to forward some of the most extreme feminist tenets to black women who actually need men, black men, that's not dangerous. You speak about us like we are dangerous. Would Richard Reeves even be putting a book out like he did if it wasn't for black men in the black manosphere and men in the manosphere in general? right? Would Scott Galloway be going on his tour right now speaking about men and young men if it wasn't for the manosphere? Would the whole world not be like, okay, we got to do something about these boys and men? If it wasn't for Andrew Tate, y'all hate him. I get it. I'm not his biggest fan either. But if he wasn't making such a hoopla, would there even be a call? Y'all would turn a blind eye. Y'all would benign neglect men and boys in their struggles, kind of like your ideological side's been doing for decades, Miss Foster. If it wasn't for Kevin Samuels putting a microphone in the daughters of Oprah's face, in the daughters of Shonda Rhimes' face, in the daughters of Terry McMillan's face, in the daughters of Bell Hook's face, in the daughters of Audre Lorde's face, in the daughters of what's her name Walker face, would y'all even care to realize how decades of that type of rhetoric would it look like? Would decades of Gail King trying to press Lisa Leslie to give her a certain type of answer about Kobe and it blown up in her face and then her trying to claim victim to white people when black people say hell no? See, if it wasn't for Kevin and it wasn't for Andrew Tate and if it wasn't for whatever names in the white manosphere and even those goofballs on Fresh and Fit, if it wasn't for them, y'all would turn a blind eye to men and boys struggle. Alice Walker, thank you, Detroit. Better yet, D. Scott said Malice Walker. Exactly right. Right. If it wasn't for these people, for the good and bad of it, y'all would benign neglect men like you've been doing for decades. Women like you, Miss Foster, use intersectionality to benign neglect black boys and black men's plight. Y'all are so left leaning. Y'all talk about the system, but once we start talking about men, everybody turned real conservative, and everybody want to tell men to get it out the mud. Everybody start talking to men like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, particularly black boys and men. See, we want to talk about college loan debt. We want to talk about the 8 hour work week and 40 hours a week, and maybe we should change it and universal basic income. And we want to talk about all of that, right? Maternity leave, excuse me, right? The ills of hustle culture. We want to speak about all of that right up until it's time to start speaking to the men and the boys. And then all of a sudden, it's pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? And y'all give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Yeah. So Detroit said drive through, huh? Yes, yes, actually, right. And Ed said, "Nigga, how long was that stream? Obsidian stream? It wasn't that long. It was a few hours. It wasn't an 8 9 hour marathon. Not that I remember. I got off a little early, but yeah, right, yeah. So I Kim Foster. What and there's a space to speak about the divestors and the swirlers and their rhetoric, right? They have their own lane and what makes them particularly dangerous. But the Kim Fosters, that one right there, that's the one because the divestors are so loud and so brazen. It's difficult for like air quotes legitimate white society to use them in that way, right? You can't bring them on an interview, really, right? It's gonna be hard. It's a hard listen to watch Cynthia G on ABC or something like that, CNN or Fox or even Fox News advocating for aborting black male sons. Like that might be a little too much. But Kim Foster, on the other hand, oh, and her ideology and her pretending like she's speaking like only for the empowerment of black women while she takes shots at black men. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that on the other hand is far more pliable, and the political left could definitely use her as a weapon. They could definitely pretty much turn her into Oprah 2.0. And that's the position women like her are actually pining for. You take shots at black men, right? The term lying by omission, you insult them by omission, right? It's the whole model minority thing. When they call Asians the model minority as compared to who? You don't got to finish the sentence. You don't got to say, oh, the Asians are the model minority as compared to black folks. You don't got to say all that. Everybody knows what it means. And that's the role Miss Foster plays. That's what makes her so dangerous. And so shout out to Obsidian for covering that, covering her, right? Her taking shots at Miss Brown Sugar and then pretty much telling Miss Brown Sugar, shame on you. And didn't she actually say shame on you? If I recall right, I think she actually might have said shame on you. But, essentially trying to shame Miss Brown Sugar for being with Obsidian, right? Meanwhile, they've been together so long. What they've been together, he said 14, 15 years. So that means that Kim Foster would have been what, 19 years old, something like that. So yeah, just another elitist or wannabe elitist a-hole, Ivy League college educated black woman coming back to the black community, lecturing down to black people, black men in particular. These people saw the title, they saw the book, Miseducation of a Negro, the Miseducation of a Negro, and they're like wiping their rear ends with it. You come back to the black community lecturing down to black working class men. Insulting working class black men, belittling black men. And really, it's the condescending. That's the thing. You want to know what grinds my gears? Right? As if we adopt all of your BS intersectional feminist theory, then everything will be swell in black men's lives, right? Okay, we go to college and university, deal with sexist a-hole female professors like you, eat all that BS crap from other black women on the college campus like you, adopt the BS intersectional, pardon me, intersectional feminist theory, and our lives would be swell, right? Just swell. And then we could date and marry women like you, Miss Foster, right? And have children with women like you. And then raise daughters to be women like you. Just the most pleasant, kind, nice, selfless people on the planet, right? Not wannabe, snooty, snarky for no reason, chocolate dip white female assholes. Because yeah, that's what black men want. To raise them in a wannabe elitist black female, wannabe white, wannabe upper middle class white, wannabe rich white asshole. Right? Who hides their misandry behind intellectualism, their education, right? Their degrees. Like who's talking about the temperature? Right? Spain man, Spain man, pretty much. This wraps up pretty much everything right here, right? Adult women running around coming up with fancy ways to say girls rule and boys drool. Essentially, right? Essentially. And that's what it comes down to, right? And that's okay. And like what ends up happening, and this is where so much of our society is going to struggle, is attempting to get men to partner with women like Miss Foster, number one. Number two, to have women like Miss Foster sticking their thumb in men's eye and then attempting to incentivize men to do and to build and to maintain this society anyway. Right? To do, to build, and to maintain this society anyway. With the Kim Fosters running around. These are the people that y'all think are like the bee's knees on the left, right? I skimmed through it. I'm gonna go back and watch it. But you know, FD speaking to T Noir and they speaking about their whole side of I guess they're rebranding or I've never heard this term, but I guess I have to do research on it. So black bread tube is called cornbread tube now. I might be super late on that one, but yeah, cornbread tube, right? And under that tent is Kim Foster, right? And don't y'all forget, FD said he's under the ideological tent with Kim Foster. Kim Foster. Right. So I guess she, she saw Obsidian's live, right? And I believed her. I believe. I never thought she was lying about the and I said that actually not on Obsidian's channel, but I said that on this channel, where yeah, I believed her. That glow wasn't fake. You could, yeah, that glow is not fake. Yeah, she definitely in a relationship. That glow is not fake, right? I don't know if Obsidian was paying attention. She ain't fronting. She is definitely in a relationship. She is definitely head over heels, and I'm happy for her with that. I am happy for her with that. I'm afraid for him, right? I'm afraid for him, but I'm happy for her with that. Bro, they're all corny over there. Yeah, they corny. And Big Kev said cornbread tube. Wow, so corny. Pun, right? First of all, funny pun. But secondly, yeah, they corny over. They're corny. Mr. Z is not exactly you know, the epitome of like funny and charismatic. Can I be charismatic? Yes, but like I'm not the epitome of this, right? And I definitely can be corny myself. But these people are like painfully corny at times. And maybe that's why they look down on the black community and think like if we would just get it together and try to imitate them, then things would be all right. Right? Let me leave Big Kev's comment up a little bit longer. Yeah, corny. Right? Like lame. Like I think somebody in Obsidian's comment said like this is the real educated lame. Like, bruh, maybe we messed up with this conversation about educated lame black men because if y'all don't see Kim Foster and see educated lame, I don't know. And bitter educated lame. Bro, you in a whole relationship, happy, smiling, glowing with this dude, and yet you still taking shots at Obsidian because you think you could sneak this and we won't catch it. Right? You think you could sneak this and we won't catch it. And then we're too dumb because remember you called us useless. We're too dumb to respond. Right? We're big dumb apes over here, so we can't interpret that you're taking shots at black men or the black manosphere. And then if we do interpret it, we can't put the words together and string them along to respond back to you. I didn't say react, I said respond. Right? We're just big dumb, like I said to Obsidian, just He-Man woman haters over here. That's how it's interpreted over there. FD's like the only person barely who engages with any of our content. They just look at us and be like, "Oh yeah, this just He-Man woman haters over there." Right? It's just a bunch of sexist misogynists over there. They want to bring us back to the kitchen and have us barefoot and pregnant and that's their issue. Is that we won't bow to them. Their issue is that they can't get the prettiest girl in the world. That was literally what Kim levied at the Black Manosphere. Our issues is that we can't get the 8, 9s, and 10s. Ma'am, you are the one who literally brought up the fact that you went to prom with the white dude because even the nerd black dudes weren't checking for you in high school. You're the one who brought it up. Projection much? Now, and thank you for that. Thank you, universe, for reminding me of this. God, for reminding me of this. I came in the door telling y'all that. I came in the door telling y'all, yeah, they just mad about who didn't want them in high school. And one by one, they've either all said it or implied it. At y'all big age, y'all grown as hell. 30 something, 40 something, 50 something, 60 something, married with kids, married in serious relationships, still harping on not being the cool chick in high school. Get over it. Your whole adulthood, you're gonna be chasing after this dream of being the cool chick, the it girl. That's why we call y'all losers. Y'all will have money, y'all will be married, y'all will be living a nice life, and still be holding on to trauma from 30 years ago. For Kim, it's working on, you slowly working on 20 years. You're 34 years old, ma'am. Let it go. And you're in a happy, loving, you know, relationship right now. Let it go. Right? And D. Scott says she'll turn him into Dwayne Wade in 2 years. Have him grabbing his ankles in community post. LOL. Hopefully not. Please, brother, don't go out like that. Run, bro. Don't bend over, but run. Right? And so yeah, Miss Foster, this is not good. And we really have to talk about this mean girl thing. And I think BGS has spoken about it lightly before, or at least I've heard him speak about it a little bit. This mean girl thing coming from young women, but in our case, particularly black women, that mean girl thing cost y'all a lot. It's cost y'all friendships, it cost y'all relationships, right? You in the wrong relationship with the wrong dude, and right? D. Scott said, "Don't turn around." Oh man, I guess you got to run backwards, right? You know, this mean girl, snarky, sarcastic, right? Snooty, wannabe upper middle class white girl thing. That no, and y'all are those people, and then wonder why your relationships in the black community are strained. Even other black women ain't trying to be around y'all like that. You wonder why, you know? And let me pause right here. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Give me a second. And I'm back, and hopefully you guys will be able to hear me. But yeah, so yeah, these people, like I said, Kim is dangerous. Kim is to me in many ways more dangerous than even the divestors, right? Even the swirlers. The swirlers are dangerous, yes, especially in our personal lives, but the Kims are dangerous on a macro level because they're the ones that often get the microphone on the left, right? And take shots at black men, right? They're the ones that white lefties use to benign neglect black men. right? And then take those resources and then spread them around with immigrant groups, or spread them around with LGBTQ groups, the resources, the fanfare, the support. I mean, literally BLM. And so, from our understanding, yes, Kim Foster is straight, but she's literally that's BLM. We're gonna take the blood, the lives, the memories of black men that are killed by the authorities, killed in a heinous way, killed by the state, extrajudicial killings, excuse me, right? We're gonna take that. We're gonna take all that energy and direct it towards everyone but those same straight black men, the people that have their likeness. We will take the support coming from everyone from Jordan Russell Davis, right? Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, right? Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, and we're going to take all that energy and we're going to direct it towards LGBTQ rights and women's rights. Because we really don't like you Negroes. Yes, you dead ones, the ones that we're using um, to get resources, to garner some support, right? We really don't like you Negroes. But we will use your death for the advancement of us and our little niche movements, right? And that's the lane Miss Foster plays in, or at least her ideological side. Maybe not her individually, right? That's what makes her so dangerous. Meanwhile, the brother Darren Seals meets his end the way he did, suspicious as hell. He meets his end that suspiciously, right? And D. Ray McKesson gets to sail out in the sunset with his blue vest wearing ass. And the women from BLM get to sell out in the sunset, stealing money and using it for inappropriate uses. So that's what makes Kim Foster dangerous. Because her ideological side see that and say nothing. At least Juicy covered it. She skipped a couple of parts. She didn't investigate other parts, but at least she covered it. Kim, and by the way, this is how class gets in the way of racial solidarity. By the way, Kim. See, you want black women to be united with you until we start talking about that class stuff, that elitist crap that you on, right? Number one. But you people like you use the dead bodies of black men to advance your own ideology, right? So yeah, the lady is dating. To me, the Kim Fosters of the world are more dangerous even than the divestors and the swirlers. And at least now, you excuse me, at least now we have the ability to respond. Um, because the internet, has democratized the town square. At least we have that. But remember, these people fashion themselves as better than us, while they still taking shots. And they did the same thing in the 90s. For all you younger dudes, understand they did the same thing in the 90s. It's just that the white people of power and note gave the women the microphone, right? They were taking shots in the 90s too. And from my elders, from my understanding, they tell me they was taking shots in the 80s too. And white society decided who the winners and the losers were going to be in the conversation. And they chose the women. Now, Kim got to ask herself, in this white racist society, why they choosing y'all? Because you think you're doing something revolutionary and deep and different over there, Miss Foster, right? Ask yourself. Now, this is something that we agree on. This country isn't exactly open to black people, right? Okay, so why have they chosen you, Miss Foster, in your ideological side? Huh? If you're doing something so revolutionary, why did they choose you? White racist people, both on the left and the right. Well, the right don't even acknowledge y'all, right? They're using Candace Owens. They already got their excuse me. They already have their person. They already got their token, right? And Big Kev says, and thank you for the super chat. Big Kev says, BreadTube equals Steven Seagal. This space equal John Wick. Which, by the way, my girl is like on me about the John Wick thing. Like, so we gotta go see it, right? So yes, we are. We will be seeing John Wick whenever. When is that? This weekend or next weekend? We will. Yeah, yeah. All right. So that's funny, Big Kev. That joke is actually perfect timing, actually. So, and Detroit says there's this black woman, parentheses conservative, parentheses probably, is destroying BLM name on the streets. Nobody was defending her. She was on point. Who? Who are we speaking about? Wait, nameless in here? I didn't even know. I should have known that. I should have seen the smoke bomb. Look, I'm already dead. And the nameless protagonist says, by definition, that's called, excuse me, necromancy, right? And I think that's nameless referring to what I'm saying with these people like profiting off of our death, right? Benefiting from our death. Yeah. So these people, yeah, that's what makes them dangerous. That's what makes Kim Foster dangerous. And I so even as a child, something I realized is we speak in our society as if educated people can't be petty, as if they don't do some of these like lower grade kind of there's a word I'm looking for, these primitive, that's the word. They don't do these kind of more primitive, air quotes, primitive human things, right? That's not something educated people engage in, intelligent people engage in, right? They don't speak about sex in a certain way. They don't speak about, relationships in a certain way and intimacy in a certain way. They don't hold on to gripes. They're not, these particular elites don't do that. They don't hold on to gripes. No. Right? They don't remember that they weren't the cool kid in high school. Of course not. They're accomplished. They're educated. They're intelligent. They're doing something way more important with their time and their energy. Right? They don't engage in vengeance. And if they do, it's with people on their same level. Right? Even as a child, I knew that was BS. Right? These people aren't petty, right? Meanwhile, you have Kim Foster, and you have a lot of educated black women in particular taking shots. Connected black women taking shots. I'm gonna finish. I just clicked on it for 2 seconds, and I realized I was way too close, and I had to start the stream. Pink Book lessons covering the women from, we'll just call them cocktails, right? And Claudia Jordan pretty much speaking about settling. Claudia, you had this conversation with Corey like a decade ago. Y'all know Mr. Z been a big Corey fan. I haven't been listening to Corey so much over the past 3 or 4 years, really 3 years. But before that, Mr. Z pretty much caught every single Corey Holcomb show, including the ones on RMC. Claudia, you had this conversation with Corey Holcomb like 10 years ago. You said you wasn't settling for anything less than what you were looking for then. Claudia, you don't got no kids and you never been married, from my understanding. And you still griping about not settling. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. This is why when was that, you guys? Like, what, 4 or 5 weeks ago? That's why I was talking about all those failed Xers, all those Xer women, all of them. That's why I was bringing up all the celebrity Xer women, all of them. But I brought that up to say, like, that you're in your 50s and you still, I'm not settling. Right? I ain't settling for these dudes. Oh, okay. Right? And the nerve of these men to think they're on my level or better than me. Okay, well, right. And I bring that up to continue to forward the conversation of, this is the group of people that we were told were better than the men. The men are dictated by their lower extremities, right? Everything about the men comes down to what they're going to do with their male member. Even the successful men get bought down because of their male member. The women are so much better than that, right? For all of the millennials my age, the Xers, the boomers, we all heard it. We all had it implied to us or suggested to us. The women don't think with their sex organs. Oh no, that's a man thing. The men are the ones that still try to be the cool kid from high school. The men are the ones who destroy their empire over sex. The men are the ones that are short and frumpy and mad at the jock, right? In high school, in college, as adults, even when they become successful. The women, oh no, not like that. No, the women are definitely not on that. That's a man thing. Who want to say that now? Who want to say that now? Right? The men are the ones that you got to be physically wherever first before they fall in love with you, not the women. The women look past the physical. There's other things that matter, and it ain't just the resources. Yeah, that's it. Right? Men are the cold, calculated ones when it comes to dating and marriage and whatnot. Women, no, they're just looking for love and someone to take care of them and do right by them. Right? And you could tell all of this to the conversation about Miss Foster. This is how they speak. You know. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. This is how they speak. And it to tell you the truth, to be frank with you, it's quite annoying. Because on the other end, it's why aren't these men going to college and university, and why are these men not engaging with women, and why are these men staying at home on their parents' couch, and why are these? And then you got Kim Foster. I'm not saying women like her are the reason why. I'm saying they're one of the reasons why. They're not the reason why, but you got to know they're part of the reason. Because you got white women and Latina women and Asian women and definitely black women just like her. All over our society. Claiming this egalitarian talk, claiming we can't recreate white patriarchal concepts of relationship and marriage and whatnot. Meanwhile, they're demanding that you become educated so that you can fill a certain class role. Why does it even matter? Why can't you be the one to pay all these bills and be the breadwinner while I stay at home and fold the sheets? I'm not saying I would do that. I'm saying, why can't it be you? In an egalitarian world, why is that an issue? You be the one with the name and the status and the recognition, and I'll be the support, right? And I'll stay in shape. And when you come home, I'll greet you at the door with my hoochie daddy shorts. You're not really about that egalitarian life, right? What we said, um, what feminists in the streets, right? Pick me in the sheets, something like that. I think me and Toya were saying something like that. And that includes even you, Miss Foster. I mean, even you say, see, like, oh, before I get off, oh, how did I forget this part? So the hypocrisy, the wanting to pick certain parts of patriarchy and put certain parts of feminism and egalitarianism and try to cobble them together for some new type of thing. Nope. She even admitted that she has an issue with that. Every once in a while, she'll catch herself like, "Ooh, where did I get all this misogyny from? Oh my God, what am I saying? What am I?" That's the inner you. That's the woman in you, Miss Foster. The reason why you feel you catch yourself sounding like a hypocrite, because you are. And we're human beings, so I would argue we all are. I don't think that being a hypocrite is exclusive to women or black people or whatever the hell. You want to know why you catch yourself doing that, Miss Foster? Because you don't actually mean half the things you say when your back is to the wall. You're engaging in a really cute intellectual exercise, but when your back is against the wall, as a woman, all that crap go out the window, and we really do a grave disservice in men knowing that. And maybe we need to do some experiments and put these staunch feminists in awkward positions and see how much they really stand on it. Oh crap, the boat is going down. We only have enough for 7 people. 7 men or 7 women or a mixed match. How are we going to do it? And let's see how many women are still on that. Well, equality. That includes you, Miss Foster. The reason why you catch yourself is because that's the real you. That's the innate you. Right. And on that note, right. Y'all give me a second. Y'all give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. But yeah, so yeah, so it's about as long as I'm gonna go on Miss Foster. She, yeah, it's not just her. It's that whole ideological um feminist, black feminist, but not really want to hold on to certain parts of patriarchy, but I'll never say it out loud. Um, claim what I claim egalitarianism. I claim to be a black feminist or a black womanist, right up until things get hard, right? Or I'll still claim it, but I ain't living it though, right? And yeah, so yeah, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm really over it, right? So on that note, you know, love, peace, and chicken grease. And I will pause right there. And it's just something to think about, right? With the Kims of the world, I don't hate them. I just think they really think that they're right, right? And they'll watch this flame out and burn to a crisp and still be talking crap, right? Like I said, like Miss Foster, you're doing well for yourself financially. You could talk this crap. It's just an exercise to you and intellectually. It's just an exercise in rhetoric. You could talk that. You could be insufferable. Miss Foster, you can be clearly you're in a relationship right now. You can be insufferable. Other women not so much, right? Other women not so much. And that's what makes you dangerous. Is yeah, you'll make a tacit sideways comment about your class position and not understand how much or not appreciate how much your class position allows you to talk the way you do and not have to deal with certain consequences, right? And you can be insufferable and mean and shrewd and curt and sassy and snarky and want to be snooty. And that's okay because your particular class position, that's how the women are. And other women really can't afford to be that. And that's actually not a bad thing. You like who you are, Miss Foster, and that's perfectly okay. But you're an asshole, and that's okay. That is okay. but other women maybe can't afford to be, right? Maybe they cannot afford to be. Some of them will try, and it will be disastrous in their life, right? But you, because of your financial position and your connections, you can afford to be. And I don't know how much you're taking that into account, right? And I'll truly pause right there. Y'all have a great rest of your night, right? Love, peace, and chicken grease. Check out other Black Manosphere content. Check out other non-Manosphere content, right? And Mr. Z will see y'all later. Y'all have a great rest of your night. All right, everybody. Mr. Z out.